And we should be live. Welcome everyone, welcome Chooms. My name is LastKnownMeal and today we have a new RedStreams from CDPR. So this was announced last week. So today at 6 p.m. Central European Time on Twitch, they will actually have Minji Chang, who is the voice actress for Songbird, and also they will be joining with Borys Muraszkiewicz, who is the English Adaptation Director, if I think I remember this correctly. So welcome everyone. Tim, Zura, Chrissy, Allison, Moongod, what's up, what's up? DME3, what's up my friends? So, how is everyone doing? It's been a while since I streamed last time, so the last stream was also about RedStreams, and that's also when we got some of the new stuff from update 2.1. So there has been a lot of questions on what's going to be the case here. Well, I do think that when it comes to patch, so if you go to SteamDB, if you go to Cyberpunk and then depots, you will see that there were new like branches being there, which is usually like an indication of a new patch. So when that happens, usually a new update comes out. Now do keep in mind that the update which will most likely come out is probably not going to have many features, and I don't think it's going to be a feature-based update. I think one of the things that might be added is maybe FSR 3.0, because I do believe that wasn't added yet. Besides that, I think it's gonna be bug fixing. I know someone was asking about weapons. It would be cool if, like, for example, we get a new weapon or a car, but at the same time, I wouldn't really think about it, because you also have to think that the development of Cyberpunk is slowing down. That means you have less and less people working on it each month because, well, they're being transferred to either the new Witcher or they're gonna be working from the Boston office on the sequel for Cyberpunk. But even that sequel, just keep in mind, it's not going to be a full team yet. So you have the most important people from like Cyberpunk development, and they're going to be, well, creating the sequel in terms of the story and everything before they move on to the full production. When it comes to full production, it's only Witcher right now, which is nice. I mean, I cannot wait. The only thing the sequel needs is a real deep immersive interactivity with the world and NPCs, schedules and activities, I think, to be able to sit in numerous bars and drink. Yeah, I mean, we share a similar opinion, which I hope for the sequel, like when it comes to open world interactivity, because I think there could be a lot of things that the game could benefit from, not just from like the gameplay standpoint or the gameplay loop or formula, but also from like just being able to do stuff. I think people are gonna be spending more time exploring that stuff, especially because right now, I mean, Cyberpunk, you have a lot of things you can find if you explore, but most of that stuff is related to items, to different outfits or weapons or something similar to it, or shards now, which they have been added more properly. So yeah. Did you see the Phantom Liberty G Fuel? It's banana pineapple. Wait, which one? I have this one, but there's a Phantom Liberty one coming out? Damn, I have to check that out. I think maybe I shared it, but I don't know. Happy to see your stream, man. Thank you a lot. So because, you know, we're getting kind of closer to the end of like new Cyberpunk updates and stuff when it comes to patches, I will obviously still cover Cyberpunk, so I wanted to activate myself a little bit now more on Twitch and stream Cyberpunk there and some other games as well, because I don't want to stream on YouTube. It's very problematic to stream games, especially like when it comes to music and all of that. And plus, you know, the game itself, sometimes you're gonna do something, it might not even be related to, like, let's say nudity. You could just do something with like, you're doing a Mantis Blades run and you basically like chop off the limbs of the body and then something happens to the stream. So I just want to focus on Twitch in that sense. I know it's going to be a smaller audience in a sense, but I believe that's fine because, well, streams are going to be more, I don't know, personalized that way for the time being. Hey Charlie, what's up? Car customization would be cool, yeah, but it's too late for that. Maybe in the sequel. I mean, so I do believe how cars work now in Cyberpunk in Red Engine is basically it's just one thing which is made, and when it's imported into the game you cannot really like do proper switching on it. I believe that system would probably take a lot of time to create, because then you would have to think about how many cars and vehicles you're gonna have like customization on, you know. But they've been adding more stuff, like for example being able to buy like different cars. But some of the mods really work for it because they allow you to have like utility vehicles and buy that, or just buy different versions of different vehicles that NPCs drive, which would be cool, just to be able to choose like different, let's say, variation of that vehicle, because there are. I mean, when you go to the city you can see those things. Or you can post some VODs in YouTube from your Twitch stream. Yeah, I mean, I will post VODs. I mean, that's yeah. I also don't want to like overcrowd this channel with a lot of content, so Cyberpunk VODs, yeah. Other VODs probably on like some VOD channel which I'm going to create. I already have like a shorts channel, but not shorts as in YouTube shorts, but just short videos that I just experiment on, you know, in the time being. Hail Kim, what's up? Huge fan of the years of content you put from your small little space, putting you on across the pond. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Kinda pricey for $60. Wait, what's pricey? Eat something, go dancing to the clubs. Yeah, I mean, they just started adding activities like you've seen, like for example, inviting like your romantic interests to the apartment, so inviting Judy or Panam, etc. That's cool. So something like that, more of that in a sense. Hey Jeremiah, what's up? Hey Chibi, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great actually. I've been playing some Pal World. I know. You're probably tired of hearing about that game. So I've been playing that a little bit. It's addicting, not gonna lie. It's an interesting game. Very. Missed opportunity, but CDPR should have been putting out multiple DLCs like Phantom Liberty all the way till GTA 6 release. I mean, I'm sure they're going to think about it for the future, because you have to move on eventually. I mean, it's been a while since Cyberpunk 2077 released, and yes, I would love another expansion for this game. But I think about it like this, so maybe, I don't know if that's gonna be happening, they plan it better for the sequel. So maybe in the sequel they're gonna be doing updates like that. Maybe more expansions. We'll see with the Witcher when that comes out, how it's gonna be done. I mean, new Witcher game without Geralt, I mean, think about it, it's gonna be such a big thing. I don't think a lot of people realize or think about it or talk about it, but new Witcher game without Geralt of Rivia, I mean, it can go a lot of ways, guys. It can go a lot of ways, but for as long as it's the way that we got used to from The Witcher, even like let's say it's a different predefined character from a different school, or even if you create your own Witcher, I mean, it all has its plus and, you know, ups and downs in that sense when it comes to like character and how you view your character. If it's gonna be like fully like predetermined character, because at the end of the day V is also somewhat of a predetermined character. You still don't have that level of freedom. I mean, you have a level of freedom which you can kind of take decisions with V, and he's going to change according to that. But a good example of that was Mass Effect. Like if you were going for like the bad decisions or good decisions, I really like how it also reflects the character throughout the story and how people look at you. I mean, I hope maybe something like that in the future. Something like that, because that would be cool. I'm mistaken, he got rid of the iconics like Harry's gun, Archangel, along with Rebecca's gun. Ooh, when I passed, tired running on fumes, I wish there was an option to rebuy or reobtain optics. Well, if you if you are on PC, there is a way to add those items through console. If you are on console like Xbox or PlayStation, well, ooh, that's a bit more tricky. But if you're on PC, you can just, you know, spawn it in. That's not a big deal. Hey Zichiro, what's up? Hello back to Philadelphia. Yeah, I agree, Waylander. Yeah, Cyberpunk is definitely at a very good place right now when it comes to content. I mean, I loaded up like the other day because I was thinking of doing a video on that. I know people have been doing it while back. I loaded up the Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4. And that's like Cyberpunk without any patches. Like that's the Cyberpunk version you got on a disc. And then I loaded it up on PlayStation 5 and oh boy. Yeah, I mean the game has changed a lot since its initial release, especially with like update 2.0 when you look at the systems. And I know some people preferred like old system when it comes to like perks you have and how you level up your character, but I mean, I don't know, this is also well done. I recall reading in a shareholders meeting that their intentions for Project Polaris was to make it the framework for other two games in a trilogy so that they have no time frame of release. I mean, yeah, they will definitely like probably rethink their entire structure, but at the same time, it will be interesting to see what sort of mechanics and what sort of ideas from Cyberpunk go into, let's say, the new Witcher game. Because when you think about it, like Witcher 3 was very flat when it comes to terrain in most areas, while Cyberpunk was a little bit more vertical in that sense. So I wonder if that's gonna be a little bit more the case with like the next Witcher, and especially being done in Unreal Engine, and how that's going to feel and how that's going to play. Then we also have the Witcher 1 remake. I'm looking forward to that, definitely. I just hope for the Witcher 1 remake, obviously, I think they will have to redo the voice acting. I doubt the original voice acting from Witcher 1 is going to stay. I might be wrong. Maybe there is a way to like enhance that, because it's kind of poor in a sense, and old when it comes to just sound itself and how it sounds and how dialogue is done. But I just hope they kind of just leave it as is, extend the areas and make it open world. I mean, or they can even, I don't know, if they wanna, they can keep it as is with like different, like how would I say, cells which you go into, like levels, because that's ultimately what Witcher 1 is. But the story is fantastic. I mean, the only reason why you don't have people playing that game is because of, well, kind of outdated fighting systems, but the RPG segment, still there. Still very much there, and very good story. So yeah, I hope that they rethink all of that for like the next releases, and we'll see how that then reflects onto Cyberpunk sequel. Why are you here when it didn't even started? Well, you're probably new on the channel. There's always a 1 hour pre-show. Better question is, what are you doing here 1 hour before we start? Wait, no, Geralt, I thought we were going to as Vesemir type character to the new Witcher. I mean, it's unknown, but they said like Geralt's adventures are done with The Witcher 3 and the story is kind of there, so we'll see how that's gonna be with the new trilogy. I mean, that's because of that whole discussion with Geralt. And if Geralt is going to appear or not, or when is it going to be set exactly, who's going to be with us, new school, old school, our school of like, the Witchers, we'll see. But that's about it when it comes to The Witcher. That's all we know. Besides the concept art and, Geralt not being a playable character, because that's it. That's what they said. It's done. When you expect a new CD Projekt Red game? 3 years. Something like that. In the next 3 years. Maybe even 4. 3. 3 for The Witcher. Or maybe some other. We'll see. But I don't expect anything from CDPR in the next 3 years, because they still have to create it. It's gonna be a long process. I know they said they want to do it in all of the 6 years and blah blah, but plans change and it's most likely going to be longer. Any other Witcher 3 junkies here that yet to play Bloodborne like myself? It's apples and oranges, but I love the energy from those. Yeah. Definitely play Bloodborne if you haven't. It's a fantastic title. Everybody's thoughts on the sequel taking place in Chicago. Sequel is gonna be Night City. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's more logical to be Night City than anything else. In like the pen and paper, it was always Night City. Cyberpunk Red, Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk this iteration, Cyberpunk that iteration. I mean, you could obviously pen and paper it easier in different cities, but it was always kinda Night City when people played. That's pretty much it. Hey Bengi, what's up? When is the stream starting? So in 45 minutes on their Twitch. I always do like a 1 hour pre-show to like talk with people and just kind of hang out. Because I don't do streams often, and I had community like podcast before on, you know. So maybe some guest role. I don't think, yeah, we don't have guests for today. We're gonna focus on watching them. But Locust was here a couple of times and people really liked him, so next stream I'm gonna see if he's available for like to come to the channel. Hey, what's up, man? Glad you're still doing these streams, and even more glad we have a dance stream to watch. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. So yeah, the next update, I mean, it could be after the stream, it could be next week, it could be tomorrow, but I don't know, I'm not gonna pinpoint it exactly. Maybe we'll see with this announcement if it's gonna be happening today. But again, don't expect anything like content-wise. It's most likely, I think, going to be hotfixing and maybe FSR or something like that, you know? Do you know why only Minji is featured in this stream? Because I know Alt and Rogue voice actresses also went to CDPR office at the same time. They could be timing the episodes for like more content. So this is pre-recorded because Minji was in CDPR HQ a while back, so this is not live, I think. So they might be just, you know, having different people come up and they're gonna be doing these like episodes every month, every 2 months, you know? So that's why, maybe they were just there because, and only Minji did the podcast. We'll see. What if Geralt get killed early off or in the end of the sequel? Oh man, I don't know, like that's always kind of cheap to do. Like, oh, we killed off a character in like 10% of the game story. I don't know. They will say they will release all of the Saga games within 6 years of the first one's release. So let's say the first drops in 2027. I mean, 2027 for a CDPR release sounds plausible. Because I always say, like, it's CDPR at the end of the day. We can always have delays, internal delays, and we don't even know, like, how it's... We know it's, like they said, that systems are a little bit better now with Unreal, and they're seeing like some things happening faster than they did before. But I mean, it's not magically gonna create a game in a sense. Finishers are being fixed. Yeah, the finishers were kind of broken, so I hope that's also gonna be a fix. Of course, as it is always, I will do like a review of the update when it comes out. If it comes out today, or well, tonight, for me, I will play it and then have a video tomorrow because, well, I'll probably need more time to do it. Geralt is synonymous with CDPR, yes, yeah. But also his brand of The Witcher, to be honest. And there is also Cyberpunk. They achieved pretty good brand recognition when it comes to like male and female, like box art, you know, V's and just the logo and stuff. Yeah, you have to realize that the next Cyberpunk game, I mean, they might be developing 2-3 games at the same time now, but the intensity of that development is like the main focus is right now on The Witcher. The Cyberpunk one, again, they're still assembling a team in Boston. They're going still. We've had a few tweets of them actually being in Boston, like Sasko and stuff. So slowly but surely, they will create a framework for their own, obviously, sequel. and then they will start getting more devs into it. For the time being, it's only The Witcher. But I mean, to be honest, like when they release a Witcher, I mean, they can take all of their time with Cyberpunk because we're gonna be playing that. I mean, that's probably gonna take a while to finish, and I mean, even today you can still do Witcher 3 content and be it relevant, pretty much. Where can we watch the stream? You can watch it on Twitch, so twitch.tv/cdprojectred, or you can watch it here. And that's happening in 40 minutes. Have you heard about the Neuromancer Cyberpunk theory? Is that a new one or an old one? I don't know, I haven't. I'll check it out. Did Mike Pondsmith hand over the rights to Cyberpunk when it comes to years 2077 and beyond? Wonder if he will be involved as much. I think he will be involved heavily. I mean, Cyberpunk is still his baby, and I don't know exactly the specifics of the deal between them and basically Art Al-Sorian. I don't know if Art Al-Sorian is basically let me see this, let me check before I comment on that. I know that CDPR obviously has rights for everything regarding Cyberpunk, so that means board games, plushies, all of the franchising, the merchandising, the live action, the adaptations in terms of like animations or anime, while for The Witcher they only have merchandise and they have games. So CD Projekt can never make a Witcher movie or a Witcher series because that belongs to Sapkowski, and right now those rights are bought by Netflix. So yeah, Netflix is currently doing that. Art Al-Sorian. But I mean, to be honest, I think that it's gonna be heavily involved in the production of the sequel as well. So I don't know if they're fully absorbed or have a very good deal with CDPR, but it doesn't say here they're fully bought. So I think it's mostly a very good like deal. I mean, to be honest, what I want Mike Pondsmith to be involved in the sequel, because hopefully then we get Black Hand. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Thought the stream was tomorrow. My days are all bending together. Yeah, it's on 24th. It's on today. Want a Cyberpunk mixed with horror? Then yeah, the whole, like, there was a certain mission in the expansion which I don't want to reveal here, maybe because if someone hasn't played it, but it's very horror-like. It's crazy. So let me just check quickly if CDPR posted anything else. So Cyberpunk. I think so far it's only about yeah, just about the stream. Look at the past features that Pavel said would never happen. Expect CDPR to announce them on stream today. And then say they'd never happen. He said it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, think about it. Even if sometimes like people are right and they say like, oh yeah, this feature is coming and maybe that feature is in development, they cannot say anything until it's out, because sometimes things can be scrapped, things can change, so they're just keeping quiet for the most of the time until it's, you know, officially released, because at the end of the day, it's not their company. They signed a contract and they have to stick to that contract a lot. Everyone in that company. It's just how it is. Hello, Michael. In your best estimation, what do you think the developers will announce during the upcoming stream? I think this is more going to be about behind the scenes stuff for Cyberpunk, and then maybe they mention the update or they say it's next week or something, but I doubt that a big focus of that is going to be about the update, because usually RedStreams are this, while for example the whatever stuff, the Night City Wire or however they call it, that's mostly about new features when they have like Sasko here or someone else. So we'll see. That part was way too hard for me. Yeah, it was good. It was surprising because I didn't expect it. I just kept waltzing in. I was like, okay, I have to actually be like quiet. Hello from Ukraine. Will you make a video with news updates on Stalker 2? So yes, I will be covering Stalker 2 on this channel. I just want that to be known because I covered Stalker before and I've been looking forward to Stalker for a very long time. So yes, I will start covering more Stalker news as we get closer to the release, with like news updates, and there is a lot of like stuff I can do now, but I'm just waiting a bit more until some more info is released. But yeah, I will be covering that definitely. Like, I'm really looking forward to Stalker. It's honestly a surprise we're getting it like at all. Like, that has been for like 10 years, sorry, that we were waiting for Stalker 2. Being delayed, being cancelled, then reimagined, then revived. Wild. God, thank you for 79, what is this, pounds? Thank you, God. Much appreciated. Oh my God. Crazy. God made a donation. Well, okay. I think Black Hand is frozen, like the Winter Soldier in Captain America waiting to be used by the next Corp. That would be, I think, kind of the only I mean, not with the technology Cyberpunk now has, because look at Adam Smasher. Because I'm always thinking, like, a lot of years have passed. Black Hand, if he is, like, here is gonna be old. And that depends if he was captured by someone, if he was maybe just like Johnny, like, you know, relic, you know, if he got relicked like that, we don't know. But I don't know, I think just having maybe a quest line with Black Hand or something like that would be just a cool thing, like, for the fans. Because I was surprised. I mean, to be honest, seeing Smasher in Cyberpunk, I expected also Black Hand. Because as much as, you know, Smasher and Johnny are kind of there, I mean, from the lore standpoint, from like Cyberpunk 2020 and from 2023 and Operation Firestorm, Johnny doesn't really stand a chance against Smasher. The only person who was actually fighting Smasher properly was Black Hand. Johnny got demolished. I mean, on that sense, I mean, Johnny is a rocker boy. He's very good, obviously, fighting because Johnny was in the military as well, but compared to Black Hand, I mean, come on. Do you think Black Hand is still somehow? I don't know what they're gonna be doing with it. I think they're very careful with it, especially because Black Hand is Mike's character, the character that Mike actually loves and created. So, have you seen a new Mustang GTD? No, let me check. It looks very Cyberpunk inspired. Let me see. Wait, where did you? Man, hate when this happens with chat. GTD. So this is 2020. Oh, okay, yeah, it looks good. I mean, kinda inspired by maybe. It looks good though. Probably expensive and definitely not for the terrain where I live. Not for the gas. Will you cover Final Fantasy series and its spin-off? I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I love Final Fantasy, and I actually have a prepared video for Final Fantasy 15 I never released, and I'm gonna most likely release it. I do like Final Fantasy, but not. I don't think I know enough to start covering it heavily, you know. Oh, imagine if Black Hand was cloned. Imagine 10 Black Hands. The Mariel, thank you so much for the donation. If Black Hand shows up, I expect him with Baba. Oh man, that would be a reunion. I mean, they keep bringing some of the people like from it, and I do wish that somehow Bartmos actually survived for like the sequel, because I think there's two things I want for Cyberpunk besides interactivity. I want more Badlands content. So hopefully, if they are doing Night City, I don't know, because nothing was confirmed about that game. If they are obviously doing Night City, I hope Badlands are a lot more improved upon and just have more content out there, like, you know, some stuff we can do more than we have right now. Obviously, like, the story of Cyberpunk goes back and forth, and you do have quests in the Badlands, but I just want there was more, you know, with it. And second would be more the net. The net wasn't really present. I mean, there's obviously different sorts of stuff for it, like ever since the crash and since the rabbits virus was released. From the lore standpoint, of course, browsing the net is not safe, and I mean, but it's still doable, and it would be cool, you know. We need exotics. I mean, yeah, we'll see what they do with customization in like the sequel and how that progresses. I mean, they said there was that tweet from I forgot his name, that 2077 was just a warm-up, and hopefully it is. Hopefully they looked at 2077 and said, hey, this works, this doesn't work, and that's how it is. Yeah, when someone say lazy, I mean, you have to realize it's a company after all, and a developer as a developer can only do so much and say so much when it comes to the budget they get to develop a feature or the update or the patch, because budgeting always happens in these companies. And at the end of the day, if like the boss says, you're done with that, you're moving to a different project, you're moving to a different project. That's how it goes. Polish Puba, thank you so much for a donation. Thank you, my friend. Haven't played any FF remake, but you have to wonder the difference between remastering an open world like The Witcher versus a linear like The Last of Us or Resident Evil. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. We'll see how they do it. We'll see how The Witcher remake is gonna be done. Demariel, thank you for another donation. Bartmos is probably rogue AI at this point. I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure that he's in the net somewhere. I mean, think about it. Person like that, guy like that, nah. Exotics would ruin the immersion. I mean, technically no, because exotics are a part of the lore. I mean, the only reason why you don't see a lot of exotics like in the world is because from the lore standpoint, they're expensive. They're very expensive. And they're not just very expensive to like create yourself or put on exotic. Not everyone can also do it like this because they would burn out. I mean, not a lot of people are Adam Smasher, and by the lore perspective, maybe Saburo, but Saburo is a different story. I mean, Saburo has capital of in trillions and gazillions of euro dollars. Okay, who is Blackhand and why can't I can't remember him? So Blackhand was the solo's solo from the lore. So if you were a solo, Blackhand was your let's say if you're a bodybuilder and your, let's say, inspiration is Arnold or Coleman or something like that. So something like that, you know. And the thing with Blackhand was he was very effective, but he was not also, he was someone who actually captured people or did tasks in a way that there is no unnecessary death, while Smasher was the complete opposite of him, and they were kind of going up against each other, you know, because just how it is. But Blackhand was a big part of like 2020 and those kind of stories before. I hope to God there is no multiplayer element in the next Cyberpunk game. Well, they said they're gonna be adding multiplayer elements. We'll see what sort of elements, you know. Because you have to think about, for example, multiplayer right now is hated, even though it's played heavily, because of predatory things that companies do. And how multiplayer basically became a cash cow for like developers to say, or companies, and say like, oh, here is $5 here, $10 here, $15 here, or in the case of Diablo or on the phone, even more. But still, Cyberpunk is pen and paper RPG. Imagine having something similar to it where you can play a different class with your friends, at least that, not fully maybe open, fully multiplayer, but having some sort of a co-op where people have different builds, you know, and something like that. P-Brock, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you're buying Cyberpunk, honestly, just buy it with Phantom Liberty, and also don't buy it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, because, I mean, the updates stopped, you know, for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and you're not gonna be getting the latest stuff, you're not gonna be getting the racing, you're not gonna be getting Dogtown. So I don't know. I think it's really, I mean, you can, if you can get the game on PlayStation 4 physically, I don't even know. Does it actually, if you buy it digitally, does it also upgrade? But if you can buy it physically, you can just put it in the PlayStation 5 and it's going to upgrade to that version for free. So that's good. PL takes place canonically halfway through the game. The game has a very obvious prompt when you can play it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have to do some stuff with Voodoo Boys before you progress with that. For multiplayer to work, they could do it like Watch Dogs, where you invade other people's games. I mean, invasions are cool. I like co-op of it more. Invasions. Imagine you're doing a, I don't know, like invasions maybe work for games like Dark Souls or for example in the case of Watch Dogs, but I don't know how that would work. Because that would be you would have to protect that. Imagine if somehow they glitched like the best items and they just spawn into your game, they one-shot you. Because you have to think about those things. Yeah, if you buy a PlayStation 4 disc, you get a PlayStation 5 free. Yeah, so that's good. And the reason I say it is because, well, you have to buy the expansion separate. I mean, it depends what sort of like if you find a PlayStation 4 copy, like physical one, which is very cheap, and I'm sure for quite a while you could find a lot of like cheap physical copies of Cyberpunk. So get that and then get the expansion. I think you're still gonna be going cheaper if you buy like cheap PlayStation 4 copy upgrade and then buy Phantom Liberty separately. I think that can work. Okay, so what Zakiro says, a buddy of mine got Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4 for $20. You can get it even cheaper where I live. You can get it for like 10 here. Upgraded on PlayStation 5 and got the expansion, so that would be the only reason to get the PlayStation 4 version at this point. Yeah, just if you want to go cheaper with how much money you spend. And we live in a rough economy, so I mean, thinking very carefully about your purchases when it comes to games. I mean, I think the economy was going too good to the point where a lot of money was starting to get dumped into gaming. And I mean, today it's like, no, there are sales. If you're patient, that's great. Yeah, so if you, 20 for PlayStation 4 and disc and 30 for expansion, that's 50. So how much how much is with Phantom Liberty now? So the full bundle, is it more than 50 now? I don't know, I haven't checked in a while. And I don't know how it is. I think on it's 60 on GOG, maybe. And then plus you have to look into, like, for example, if you're on Steam, then it calculates in a different money. I like buying things on GOG because it calculates everything in dollars instead of euros. And it's not a huge save, but it's still a little bit cheaper. Hey, sorry, just joined. Any new Cyberpunk content? Not yet, but we will find out in 20 minutes. Let me see if this is actually live. So, I don't know if they started. No, so not yet. And I wonder if it's gonna be like the same as last time, where they basically said, okay, 5 p.m. and then well, 6 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. we're gonna have a countdown. We'll see if that's gonna be the case. I got Ultimate Edition for 35 on Steam during the sale. Original play easy, yeah. And I mean, to be honest, like, Cyberpunk goes on sale every like few months. Like, there's a lot of sales happening with that. My mission is bugged, Black Steel Chaos, and also the Mr. Hands. Is this gonna be resolved? We'll see. We'll see in the patch notes, my friend. I go through them with on the channel as well. I don't know, we'll see. Haven't played Cyberpunk yet. I want to ask about the add-on. How? Oh, this was already answered. Okay. So yeah, so it, like, basically to sum it up, if you're buying Phantom Liberty and you're just going into, like, Dogtown is basically just added onto the, you know, area of the map without spoiling stuff. and it interacts really well. Even if you started by accident, you can go in and out and wait for those missions later. I would still do a lot of like main story missions a lot, because there are some things, some little dialogue options and so on, which happen in Phantom Liberty connected to certain gigs. And it's kind of cool if you have already like finished certain like quest lines with certain characters like Judy Panem and so on. So, you know, when you think we'll see the Witcher remake, who knows? Who knows? That's what I love about CDPR. Unlike Activision and Bethesda, they put their games... Well, we'll see how that's gonna be changing now, because Activision Blizzard is under new management. And keep in mind that that probably means that some of the games, or depends again on the deals that they have, are probably gonna go cheaper, some are gonna go to Game Pass. I mean, Activision is the worst when it comes to that, to be honest, because if you look at previous Call of Duty games, they're still expensive. Like, you look at the Call of Duty game from like 15 years ago and it's like 30 euros if you want to get it. Like, even that was even before the remasters came. So, like, Activision is awful when it comes to that. Hello, are you a Keanu Reeves fan? Yes, I'm a Keanu Reeves enjoyer. Phantom Liberty was implemented in the main game as well. Yeah, through some of it, depending when you were playing it, but not too much. They didn't want those things, and this camera keeps changing brightness. Skupe su ali vredi. Yes, older games, yeah, definitely. But we'll see how that's gonna be changing now, because I am sure they're gonna be, you know, putting those games on Game Pass. Think about it. I mean, it's good for Game Pass at the end of the day. And I think like this year, we should be seeing some of the results from that acquisition, because it's probably gonna take a little bit more time until we see some games appear on Game Pass. But maybe this year it was gonna be the one. You know, you think Microsoft will fix Activision? Impossible to know. They're getting a lot of great IPs. They're getting a lot of great games. I mean, some newer ones are not, but you have to also think about IPs and rights that Activision Blizzard has with them. I mean, we'll see. I think it's gonna be good because Bobby is out of the company, and all of the developers from Blizzard Activision were very much vocal to say, like, you know, just get out. So maybe things get better, but I mean, it's still, you have to, when people say like Microsoft, I mean, they're still a corporation, Xbox is under them, and they still have to do things in their own way. So I still think, like, obviously when it comes to microtransactions, that's gonna be staying the same, because at the end of the day, Microsoft does the same thing. I mean, but I think maybe development cycle is gonna be better. Impossible to know, really, at this point. I mean, we're still like about to see the fruits of like the Bethesda purchase. I mean, Starfield was, I think, developed obviously before that purchase, so we'll see how that's gonna be happening in the future. We are still yet to see what they do with it. And then, to be honest, I think sometimes they should do some crazy stuff. Like, for example, why not do New Vegas 2? Why not do stuff like that? You can now, and you know it's going to sell. I mean, give people what they want. That's kind of the thing now. I mean, look at Palworld. It has 2 million people playing it right now because it gave people something that they haven't. It filled a little niche that, you know, people wanted to be filled, and that's how it's rewarded people play it, and they can benefit from that. Pave Sasko rules. Yeah, Pave is amazing. Great dude. Well, just stay normal in like the comments. Don't fight. Come on. Just don't buy them. I mean, when it comes to all of these things, like from microtransactions to all of it, you have to realize that people who are talking about it or who care about all of those things are a minority. Every single year, the sales of just the traffic which goes through microtransactions and micro purchases within video games and services goes up into hundreds of millions of dollars. So people buy it. I mean, when you say like, why are companies doing it? Because they make money. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sadly how it is. I mean, money talks. And for people who are running these companies who might not be avid gamers because their interest is business, they will see it that way. Just why Blizzard went into mobile gaming with Diablo Immortal. Money. Hey Neon, what's up? Fight. Hey Neon, what's up? What's up? Next game should have a third-person mode. We'll see how they do that and if they do it. Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind first-person. I just want more interactivity with first-person, more of that stuff which, you know, pushes, you know, that decision forward. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've been playing Anomaly too much, and everything in that game you do with stuff, with hands. You know, you can see those animations while eating, while drinking, and I think that's cool. True came true. That's the unfortunate reality that we often ignore too, especially when it comes to our own consumer receipts. Yeah, I mean, it's how it is, because you look at the stats, you look at saying people, oh, we don't want microtransactions. Okay, but then you have basically majority of like the mainstream, because you have to realize gaming wasn't what it was 20 years ago. Everyone is playing video games now. Everyone, doesn't matter if they were playing games before, if they play games for 1 hour, if they play it on console, if they play it on PC, gaming is everywhere now. And because of it, you're going to have a lot more people which, let's say you can call them, or are being called casuals in that sense, but there's still a market. And there's sometimes a market which spends money. I mean, I like, you know that Candy Crush game? I couldn't believe how crazy people go about it. I don't like it, but the amount of money that's generating, and I've seen a woman when I was going from like Austria back home in a bus, the entire time we were driving, she was playing Candy Crush on her phone. She's like 70, and I could see that she's buying those boosts like through the card, you know, like I don't know if it's like a boost or you just get to continue. And it's just how it is. That's what's gaming right now. I mean, it's huge. So the stream is gonna be starting in 10 minutes. Let me see if I should. Okay, so we have a countdown. Let me just quickly change this. Okay, so is it good there? And turn on desktop audio. Put that in 1060, yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay. Should be good. Which Cyberpunk had a role-playing element like Metro Exodus, where you can, for example, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's gonna be the case. For like the future. Let me. Is there music on this stream or am I tripping? LKM peeking at other people's phones. She, like, I was sitting here and she was there, and when it was night, it was like dark. Oh, there's music. It was the middle of the night, and only thing that was in the bus was her phone, shining on like 100% brightness like this. You couldn't miss it. It was like a lighthouse, man. I personally prefer Cyberpunk. I mean, yeah, I don't mind. Like, I couldn't care less if it was first person or a third person, for as long as it's utilized well. I don't really like differentiate that. It doesn't really play a huge role for me. Most likely no big announcements. Yeah, I mean, they might say like, oh, patch next week or something, but the focus is gonna be primarily on behind the scenes, I think. You were disturbing her Candy Crush sessions, don't lie. Oh man. Well, Because when you see like one person playing that game, like someone mentioned to me, like, oh, do you play Candy Crush? I'm like, no, and they show it to me. You start seeing it everywhere. I use a lot of Deceptius mods. They're amazing. Yeah. Deceptius makes amazing mods. Big shout out to Deceptius. Big shout out. The only EP she gets all day and you get to serve it. Man, she was playing that for 12 hours straight. And I'm sitting here like thinking, am I a gamer? I was playing nothing. I was listening to music. By the way, let me check if... Okay, so the audio is good. Wait. Okay. At least they're starting at 6, so there isn't going to be a delay. Winged Drone Companion mod. I mean, you have it through mods, not officially, but there is a mod for companions. You can spawn different types of companions of like, you know, if you want a little guy or you want like full-on robots following you around. Didn't they save 2.1 for the last major update for new features? Pretty much, I think, yeah. It's gonna be us in 40-50 years playing Candy Crush 12 hours a day. Oh man, imagine gaming in 50 years. Like when you look at gaming 20 years back, like 2004 to now. By the way, 2004 was 20 years ago. And today it's like, you know, there were a lot of big things happening. So imagine in 50. To be honest, I'm really looking forward to VR becoming like more mainstream. Because I like VR, I like the concept of it, but right now it's expensive, it's cable-y in a sense, even with like the new gen. I don't know. But I was honestly surprised by VR a lot when I first tried it. It was very nice. So maybe something like that. Because I mean, you can only go so far with like graphics and systems until you start thinking, okay, VR, full-on brain dances. But that's far away. Still far away. Because the first tech has to be cheap. And right now, VR is not cheap. Like, at all. Like, think about it. If you want it to run on PC, you have to have a decently, like, built PC in order to run VR games. And then on top of that, headset. And on top of that, good room. I mean, you can still go for, like, VR without, like, those things, but still expensive. Honestly, wanted to add a higher difficulty mode. I mean, it's a lot harder now with like after 2.0. Dude, I got my first console when the NES was launched. Don't talk 20 years. I mean, look, my first console, or well, the one that I played on, was NES, and I remember playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on it. That was like the first contact with with gaming for me. And it was like my friend's NES. Well, that was fun. I don't know. I mean, gaming was fun back then, but to be honest, gaming is also fun right now. Maybe in the terms of like the industry and the games we get, and like the microtransactions and all of that, and unfinished games, but you know, it's still fun. Like the movie Ready Player One, yeah, but that's maybe 50, like 60 years from now. If even tech, I mean, the faster tech, the better tech you develop, the faster tech goes and is developed in that circle, kinda, you know. The faster you create stuff, the faster you're gonna be creating new stuff. Yeah, you're gonna have to compete with like controllers and screens from VR, and not everyone can go for VR because if you have motion sickness. I don't know how that is handled today in VR games, but I'm sure it's not pleasant for people. So first you have to think about motion sickness, you have to think about longevity of that use. I mean, you're gaming, let's say, for 8 hours, there's a new game, 8, 12 hours, whatever. You're not gonna be gaming on VR for 12 hours. I mean, let's face it. Twitch looks so cluttery. But Twitch is great when it comes to streaming. I wish YouTube was like that. I mean, drops and all of that stuff. There is a lot more incentive to actually like stream on Twitch than it is on YouTube, to be honest. I mean, ad money on YouTube is good, and you know, because as they increase the frequency of ads, and what YouTube has been doing, sadly, yeah, I mean, it's getting better when it comes to payouts for like, let's say 5,000 views or 1,000 views or streaming. But it ultimately hurts the website because you're gonna have people using adblock, and you're gonna have premium now, which is a premium price, let's be honest. And if they're not sharing it with family, it's kind of counterproductive in a sense. But yeah. What kind of GPU do I have? I have 3070 Ti. I'm gonna be getting the 5X series because I always skip a generation. I didn't want to go into 4X series. I'll probably get 5X series depending on how good they are, and I'm probably gonna wait for newer iterations of the card because I don't like buying a GPU straight away. If it has issues, if it has bugs, if it has problems, you know, I'd rather wait for like new iterations of like the series. You're talking to Minji. Yeah, she's gonna be on stream. Any news about the live action project? I think Adam said it's basically like they're developing it, but that's about it, you know. We'll see when that happens. Nvidia will charge arm and a leg for it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like tech is getting more expensive, and it's kind of weird. I mean, it's not weird, but it's sad. Every single time when you're looking at tech, when you're looking at anything, you have to take real world events into account. What if something tomorrow crazy happens, God forbid, and then the prices of, like, let's say microchips go to like insane highs? Then imagine how much tech will cost, because this tech would be a lot more expensive to like sell and all of that, especially with like transportation increases in pricing. It's wild. I'm using 3070, decent enough power but not enough memory. Yeah, I mean 3070 Ti is definitely a better option for it, but I mean even 3070 pretty good. Cyberdex and Davistan or Berserk? I think it's Cyberdex and Davistan. It's basically how you wrote it. I think Berserk I used it the least. I don't know how it is with other people, but I think I used Berserk the least. Mostly because I think my builds weren't really focused around Berserk and first person. The Mariel Alunar, thank you so much for another donation. I got premium last year, I never looked back. I prefer watching videos and not waste time on 10k ads. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But it can get expensive these days, especially when you take into account, like, before it was like, oh, we have a subscription for Netflix, maybe Spotify. Now it's like, oh, you want to watch Disney stuff, you're gonna be subscribing to Disney Plus, then you have Amazon, then you have Netflix, then you have HBO Plus, then especially in the US, you have what is it called, Hulu? You got Peacock, is it called like that? Basically, like, subscriptions these days, they're becoming like, they charge up if you're using a lot of subscriptions. I know people who pay $250 monthly for subscriptions, all of them. I'm like, what's my favorite build to play? Mostly ranged, for, let's say, ranged weapons like SMGs and rifles. Although these days, with like after update 2.0, I've been mostly about melee weapons with like blades and stuff. But it was always OP. I don't know, net running builds, I mean, it's good, but it can kind of get too easy sometimes. I mean, let's face it, if you're a mid-tier netrunner in this game, you blast through people, like completely. But Sandevistan right now is very good. Also, be careful, I'm gonna start increasing the audio for the stream, so just heads up. And also don't forget to like the stream for the algorithm, it helps a lot, thank you very much. Now let's tune in to the new RedStreams. I'm increasing the audio now.
Hello and welcome to another special episode of the RedStream. My name is Amelia and I will be your host. And today we have very special and very cool guest. So I hope you guys are ready.
Let's go.
I'm joined as always by Alicia Kozera, the Senior Community Manager.
Hey guys!
And like I mentioned, we have two super cool guests. So please
Is the
welcome
audio
Borys
good?
Muraszkiewicz, our English Adaptation Director.
Morning.
And we have the one and only Minji Chang, our actress of Songbird.
Let's go.
Hey everyone! So it's very fitting room to be having you, Minji, as a guest. It's like a spice hideout if you look around yourself. So how are you today?
I don't feel like this is real. I don't know that I'm in Poland right now with you guys. This is a dream come true. So I'm having a great time. Little jet lagged.
Oh,
So
Hopefully it will get better.
yeah, it'll get better. No,
And Borys, you meet Minji for the first time.
Finally, yes, face to face. We've spent many hours together online.
Good.
on Zoom.
On Zoom.
And remember this voice, you know it, you heard it.
With Minji behind the microphone, sweating it out, and me being picky about word emphasis. And
But that's what
Shit
I
like
think is
that,
so
yeah.
great is to hear that nitpickiness. It's great. That's artistry for us.
yes, for sure.
So today we'll be talking about the game, your career, your collaboration together, and of course about Phantom Liberty and Cyberpunk
And Songbird.
and Songbird. Yes. When we first met, you mentioned to me that the gaming world is something new and fresh to you.
Yeah.
So now that you're part of this world, how does it feel to be part of this community, Cyberpunk?
Being part of the game, I'm really, really like humbled. I don't know. It's such a different universe. It feels really foreign to me for a lot of reasons. And everyone's just been so kind, and everyone's been really so enthusiastic, even if they hate my character. But they all appreciate, the game so much, and they appreciate all the work that went into it. And just seeing that enthusiasm from everybody, I'm in love. I'm so. It just again doesn't feel real because I never thought I'd be part of it. So yeah, it feels great.
So you actually mentioned that some people hate your character. And I feel like Songbird is this, you either love her or you hate her. And how
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
feel about it? I mean, you can be a little biased, of course.
I love her. But no, I get based on how people interact with the game, of course, they're going to interact with her differently and get to know her in different capacities. It's not fun to be hated, but as an artist, I think it's great that the character creates a strong reaction. I think that's like the goal of any actor is to have a point of view and then to have people respond to it. And if it's indifference, that's kind of
Then
boring.
you
and-
failed at
Yeah,
something.
and I'm like, it's cool that it's creating such a response. I think that's how I'm taking it.
That's good voice acting and
Boris,
good character
do you-
design.
well, so here's the thing that I mean, it's funny because you say that you felt some hate directed towards you because of the character. No, maybe not so much towards you, but towards the character that you played.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, the fact is that Songbird is not a villain, not in any way a nemesis to the player. We're talking about a character with whom the player is supposed to make a connection, enough of a connection to actually, go along with your story
Yeah.
and go along with, I don't know, the need that sort of Songbird sort of registers. Of course, there's a quid pro quo. There's something, there's a reward waiting at the other end potentially.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't feel that Songbird is a character that people love to hate. Okay, in the sense that in the
to
sense
hate me.
well, in the sense in which you can actually love to hate a villain, you know,
Yeah.
a nemesis. I mean, you know, Kurt is the perfect example.
Highlight.
Actually, but. Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing that I would say is that, like, with Songbird, we had a pretty clear idea of where we wanted to take the character, who we wanted her to be. At the same time, you know, you know, we realized that there were sort of, I don't know, call it well, the shape of the character allowed for, you know, certain ways to take the character that would, you know, not necessarily make the character the most palatable
Right.
relationship to have within the game.
Which I think is such a strong, like, creative choice. It's not. I think that's what's so cool about the cyberpunk world as I'm getting to know it more and more, is that there are no easy answers. There's no easy choices, and that's what makes it interesting. And I think that's very relatable, at least in my, like, life is not that cookie cutter. It's not, you know, oh, there's a good person and a bad person. There's shades of, depending on how you interact with any person, any relationship, you know, the hero could be the villain and the villain could be the hero. It depends on who's interacting with them, how and when. So I think that's a well-developed character, in my opinion. And you just have to learn to, like, let it go. You can't control how people,
Of course.
how they receive you, you know.
A lot of people
I know
meeting
people
Borys
who
for the first time on
really
the stream.
can relate to Songbird in some way. They love her, and the others like, oh no, she betrayed me. I need to kill her or something.
Yeah.
But like when you were already, you know, playing Songbird,
Borys
did
is
you
great.
have
Great dude.
when you were reading the lines? Did you have like any specific like lines or moments that you wanted to, I don't know, change, you know, by you, that, you know, you were reading like, oh, I don't really like this line the way it's written, I'm gonna play it differently. Did you have any of those moments?
Don't look at me.
Try to remember. It's all a fever dream, so I don't remember. I don't think so. I think it was, I felt the entire time I was in really good hands, especially because I did not play the base game. I don't know all the details of what led me to that moment. So for me, it was kind of like swimming in a dark ocean. I was just like, am I doing it right? And
What's
it was a lot
happening
of
with the stream?
trust that I had to put in Borys and Pierce and everybody who was there to guide me.
Not in mind.
So in that way, I didn't have that much of an opinion because I didn't know, I don't want to mislead the narrative,
Right.
which is very carefully created. And I'm also a writer and moving into filmmaking myself in terms of creating a story on my terms. So I really want to respect the people that have written it and that have created it, saying like, you tell me if we're on the right track. And so I didn't feel like I had a need or you know, the authority to be like, I don't like this. This one, how do you feel about it? It was more like, are we on the right track? And it was a lot of good back and forth, I felt like. So did I ever?
Likewise. No, you were very, you were very accommodating.
Because every time we're recording, we're in a different place at a different time, and so it takes a moment for me to be like, okay, where are we? Like, what's happening? Like, and so in that way, you know, there's a lot of catch up, and you're just trying to.
Well,
stay.
I mean, that's sort of the tricky thing about VO, right?
Yeah.
Because
Probably
you
bug
know, you're doing a
fixes.
series,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
you're doing a movie, and
I mean,
you're on a set,
we're done.
and the
It's like
set
big
sort
updates.
of approximates the surroundings that your character is in,
Yeah.
or is it a perfect rendition of the surroundings that your character is supposed to be in, and you have all these breaks and these caesuras, you know, where you get to sort of you know, take your bearings again, you know, figure out that, okay, this is the time of day, this is the people that I'm dealing with, this is how I'm feeling, I'm in this place, this is what I'm going to do, this is my, you know, emotional vector or objective for the scene.
Physical state, like.
Yeah, and okay, you do the shot, or you do the scene, or you do a series of shots that are going to compose the scene, and then you break, and you move, and you're taken out of that situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you knew exactly where you were while you were doing that scene. And then when you move to the next scene or set or whatever, you're somewhere else. In the VO booth, all you're looking at are comments that you may or may not read.
Yeah.
The director may or may not be paying attention to.
I don't see any of the
you're
comments.
moving
I
from
don't see any of the
and you're
comments.
moving from set to set without actually physically moving from set to set.
Yeah.
And you have to reset yourself. You have to get your bearings. You have to stop, take a breath, and say, okay, I'm no longer tired. I took a booster. I don't know. Somebody tweaked my Chrome to give me a little bit of an adrenaline boost, and I'm no longer put upon and tired from scaling the building that I was scaling all of 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Or 20 seconds ago.
Or 20 seconds.
Now you're a completely
20
different
seconds
person.
ago. And you're somewhere else, and you're doing something else, and your motivation has shifted rapidly, as it often does in games, and you've got to find that place, and you've got to find it immediately, or almost immediately.
Yeah.
So it requires a lot of
And Borys is a genius, I swear. This
you
guy
do
has
a
been
lot of
here
it.
for a while in this
You've
company.
got to figure out.
Such a great
Which is super challenging.
I still feel that we don't do enough of that, actually. I still feel that, like, okay, so the production regime is such that, I don't know, we should be getting in the environs of 45 to 60 lines done an hour.
Yeah.
And that's our recording rate. And if we suddenly slow down to 25, that's money out the window,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And so, you basically have to stay on your toes mentally at all times, to get those shifts in energy and in emotionality and so on and so forth, while still, sticking to the production rate.
Yeah. Thank you for breaking that down.
Well,
I feel very seen.
But
He makes a lot of sense in what he says. I mean,
it's been part
It's
of my
Borys,
life for a
but-
long time, and I've hated it at the same time as I've appreciated it, because I don't know. I'm struggling to
crazy
come up
passionate
with
about the
with a
games,
catchphrase.
man. Ever since The
but,
Witcher.
But the fact is that recording rates get shit done.
He was with.
Did we
I
change
believe,
actually anything in Songbird after
in The Witcher 3 in the booth
Minji
with,
or
well,
during?
Yeah,
you know what? We start
With
recording really rather
Doug Cockle.
early. I don't know. A quest might be ready, or a default dialogue might be ready.
CDPR.
I don't know. A couple of
Shut
quests
up,
might be
man.
ready. But the fact is that, like, the remaining main quests,
Fucking
the
pills
remaining
over
main
here.
quests along
Oh, it's a Red Blue
Songbird's
pill.
story arc are
Chill.
still works in progress. I don't think after we started recording that anything super significant changed in how we wanted to shape Songbird. I know that there were certain intentions that we had at the beginning. For instance, I really wanted to bring out, like, we made a big deal about having Songbird be a Korean American, a Korean character, and at the same time, and when we made that assumption,
Hey, Vakwa, what's up?
when we made that decision, we really wanted something to appear in the latter main quests along the story arc that would actually tap into that. I don't know if you remember the Brooklyn sequence,
Yeah.
the sort of series of flashbacks and so on and so forth. So I really wanted a scene in there where I don't know, you would be in your apartment in Brooklyn those many years back with your Korean grandmother actually speaking Korean to you, and while I don't know, making kimchi or I don't know, something.
I want to know why did you decide that? Like, what was the intention behind making her Korean American? I thought that was so cool.
Well,
it's K-pop.
I don't.
Like,
No, yeah. Well, I don't know. I
Hey,
don't
stop.
honestly know.
Like, some of
I
you
think
are
it was just
seeing
one of those things that
Borys for the
that you
first
decide
time.
to do
He's
it
passionate.
because
That's why he talks. Like,
It
it
fits.
feeds. Yeah, it
Why
feels
the
right.
overanalysis?
You just
You know,
know.
it's
like that, though, a bit like that.
you know, why not Chinese? Why not Japanese?
Great
why
director,
not
though.
Vietnamese? Yeah, a series of factors come together,
Yeah.
and you find yourself making that decision. You know,
And then I win the lottery.
that's an outcome. And, you win, yeah. and some people win the
really
lottery,
did.
and some people don't.
I mean, I was, when I saw the casting call, I don't remember the
Talks a
details, but
lot.
I do remember there was
That
like
he
the
does,
Korean
I
American.
think.
Seeing that specificity
Yes.
was really just so fun and so encouraging. I've worked in the diversity area of Hollywood
Yes.
for a while, and so going so generic of like, we want an Asian character, and what does that even mean? And you know, do people get? And now it's getting so much more specific to integrate nuance. I think that's so great. It adds to the world. It adds to the character. Adds to the story. So I don't know. I just feel really lucky. It was really great to see that.
I wish we would have fleshed it out more.
Yeah.
I wish we would have tapped into it more.
We could always bring me back, Borys.
We can always do the second expansion.
I'm
Okay.
just saying.
No. So no. All right. So no. Okay. So let's hear your ideas. No.
We need to call Mike
Let's hear
Ponce
your
about
ideas.
that.
Let's assume that the ending, where you get put in the passenger pod
Yeah.
on the shuttle, and the shuttle takes off, and you know, Johnny Silverhand's brain cries.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And I don't know, you go to the moon, right? So what happens to Songbird
spoilers.
on Luna? You know?
She meets Lucy.
I think there can be such a deep dive of like
Spoilers.
the background of character, because it was really cool to talk with different fans and get asked questions about like how do you prepare for the role and things like that. I didn't know anything. Well, I didn't find out I was in Cyberpunk till I showed up. So that was
Oh, really?
yeah, it was all a secret. You guys are so secretive. But I discovered, and even in the process, I felt like once they explained who she was, I just kind of dove in. I was like, I relate to her so much. If they just give me the basis of her struggle, like I related to it a ton. And there are a lot of Korean American nuances that I think that I can pull from my own experiences that feed into the grit, the determination, the generational trauma, the things that make you like never willing or able to give up, even if sometimes the best thing is to give up. But you know, you're in such a survival mode. That's how I very much relate to my Korean heritage, and I'm still learning about that as Korean American. So there could be added depth and nuance to like her backstory or the way that she operates, and you know, moves forward from there. That I think is really. And that's what's so cool about different cultures. I mean, I'm learning. I've been in Warsaw for less than 24 hours, but I get such a different. I love traveling because it gives you such a different sense of the people and the turmoil
Definitely a
people have had
different
to
vibe.
survive. You can just feel it once you're in that place, and so I think that's so cool to add to story, because then we don't have to be generic about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned that you knew that we were looking for someone Korean American. You got the call, and you just knew that it's gonna be a video game, and that's it.
Yeah, and then nothing else. It was all
wow.
a mystery. Until even when I got booked, still wouldn't tell me what it was, and I didn't know how big the character was. Nothing. They're just like, "Do you want to take it or not?"
I mean, imagine you're doing it and you see like the word "show."
Why not? Do
Yeah,
"Oh,
there's
to
a lot
pretend
going on
this
in
is
my
not
life at the time,
Cyberpunk."
so I actually almost said no.
Oh, but
'Cause-
we're glad you did.
Yeah, I know. I'm so glad I said yes. I'm so glad.
So once you found out about the character and got to know her, was it like also difficult emotionally, maybe with some emotional scenes with Songbird? So preparing for that.
I go back to the Korean thing. No, it wasn't.
okay,
Like,
okay.
there's something that I connect with Korean culture. Even though I'm born in the States, I'm raised in the States. My connection to my Korean heritage is very distant in a certain way. But the culture that I've consumed through music and then dramas and film is taught me a lot about my roots.
Yes,
and
the
then
stream
to
is pretty
see
much that,
how
behind the
rich
scenes stuff.
the culture is in terms of
mean, yeah.
storytelling. They really, very dramatic. You know, it's a very the music, everything is very, very emotional and very, very steeped in pain. So I felt like when I heard this music, since I was a little kid, I was like, oh, my people. Like, and I'm a very big feeler. I know how to, I cry very, very easily, maybe a little too much. My parents would be like, can you stop crying? I cry when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm angry. But it fed Songbird a lot because she's a very temperamental, very emotional character. So to me, that made me again, connect to her really well. And it felt easy. I felt like I could release
You
some
were
of
the
my,
character.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
her, and I could like let out my feelings, and that's a great thing as an actor.
That's amazing.
To be able to do
you're
that.
perfect for the role.
I mean, I don't know. Everyone else can tell me yes or no, but yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it.
Were there any specific inspirations that you drew upon while voicing Songbird?
Voicing Songbird inspirations. I mean, the one that I had that I didn't understand was the big inspiration was Jeremy. She was in my head so much, and like I could hear
Yeah.
the graveliness of her voice. and
Jeremy's great,
She's so
dude.
present and so. I don't know how to put it, but I say it's like actors who are generous. They're giving everything they have to a role. That intrinsically taught me a lot. Even because this is my first video game, I've done lots of commercials, and that's very different. We're like, hey, drink this vitamin water. But you want to be a real person, but she was a big one. I heard her a little bit more than I heard Gavin, and even Gavin, just how tuned in and locked in they were to character. I was like, oh, okay, I have to bring my A game. I have to be as good as possible to
Yeah,
match.
they did a great
So
job on the
during
characters.
the recording, you actually
male and female,
can
we
hear
did.
different lines from different actors. For example, in a scene, right? So, for example, when there's V and Songbird talking,
Yeah.
you hear V's
I
lines.
hope so too,
Sometimes.
Alison. I hope so
Sometimes,
too.
yeah.
It's
That would
tricky
be very cool.
because it depends on actor availability. It depends on I don't know how the availability of various actors lines up in time, and so we'd love to be able to give absolutely everybody who
I like
comes
a lot.
in.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
The lines of the characters they're speaking to, and those are read in if they haven't been recorded. But then there's also, the sort of struggle between deciding who's going to go first. Like, okay, so you bring the V's in first, and then they're talking to air, and they're not hearing the other characters, and then all the other characters get to hear all of V's lines, or you bring the other characters in first, and in which case V gets to hear all the other characters, but then the other character, all the actors for the other characters are all talking to air. So sometimes Jeremy and Gavin got Minji, and sometimes Minji got
That way, right.
Jeremy and Gavin.
Honestly, from like gamer perspective,
Yeah.
in Cyberpunk, I never heard a dialogue that was, I don't know, mismatched, or you felt that someone recorded first. It always felt like a proper dialogue.
Well,
So, well done, guys.
yeah, but here's the thing: we get to
Cringe
cheat
chat, bro.
because we do pickups. So
Yeah.
So
that wasn't good.
yeah,
We need to review
I mean, and
Yeah,
I mean,
both are canon,
We're
'cause they're
guilty,
different
as I think a
people.
lot of other developers are guilty of not treating pickups the way they should be treated, and that is that they should be strictly performance pickups, right? So in other words, you've recorded the whole game, you figure out where there are breakdowns in sort of, it's not really about breakdowns in logic, it's about breakdowns in emotional logic during character interactions, and you correct those. We're, I think, like most developers, guilty of stuffing a lot of new material or changed material into pickups, and so
Cool
strictly
shirt.
speaking,
I would
in
like the
terms of,
shirt. I don't know if it's on
you know,
sale.
performance
They
pickups
have this
alone,
version on sale.
they're a small percentage of the pickups that we do.
I mean, yeah,
But it is a cheat of some sort.
the game evolves, so it's nothing weird.
Yeah, well, yes, that's
For
the
us, it's
counter
not
argument.
weird.
You know,
For us, it's not weird.
it's an iterative
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Scripts evolve and so on and so forth.
Well, there's
and that's one way in which it differs significantly, I think, from television and film production.
It's
I mean,
definitely a different
the
one.
fact is that you go into film production with a finished script. You don't do a lot of reshoots. If
Games are different, I think.
I don't know. I think most productions these days do reshoots, but
Well, there's different workarounds. Yeah, you have to edit
But
it
the
and
fact is
stuff.
that, like, I don't know. I would say that, like, our pickups cover 15 to 20, maybe 25% of the script, which is probably not something that happens in television.
That's a lot.
So
Aurora was a low
guys, I
point.
have a question.
I wish there was
Is there
more of
like
them.
any message or input from Songbird that, you know, can impact players?
Real
Like
tunes play
very
both.
something very deep that she would like to, you know, share with
Yes.
like regular people like with us, right? So apart from like, you know, no, it's not just a game, but actual message to you.
I'm really curious what Borys is into, because like.
No,
they said
don't
no
farm this off on
announcements.
me.
If you're waiting for that.
I'll figure out my.
Okay,
my
in the end, Minji, I mean, you know the character better than I do. No, but all I did was, you know, move her around like a pawn and so on and so forth.
But I'm curious what the original intention, because you're like, there's this character that you wanted to make and help work with me to execute. And I was curious what that intention was. Like, what was her essence or her message supposed to be? I'm curious from the.
I don't know. Okay, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't think characters should be messengers. Characters characters live, characters relate, characters characters have their desires and motivations and so on and so forth. And any messaging that comes out of you know, that concoction is even more so on the part of the beholders than it is on the part of the creators.
I agree.
You know.
I agree. I think characters end up being messengers, but not necessarily with a mission to begin with. To me, Songbird is a really
Still
talking
talking
character.
about the game. You didn't miss anything, like
full of
announcement-wise.
Contradictions and like.
You're putting Borys
And
on
I
the
think
spot.
that's
yeah.
the most relatable thing ever, because I think everybody is full of contradictions. I had this argument with or debate with various people in my life, and it varies based on if they're in like the creative space or not, because people can be very binary. They're like, you either love it or you hate it, or you know, you wish well on somebody or you wish ill. I'm like, I disagree completely. I think we're walking paradoxes and oxymorons, and we're always in parallel feeling many different things. You can love and hate something at the same moment. You can wish well for them, but you could also be really selfish and like take from them, even though you want to be generous and kind. And I think that's kind of the overall representation of Songbird, is that she's complicated as we all are. And I guess what I would hope in her storyline, once I figured out what it was, because I had a hard time. I was like, wait, what's happening?
That's what I was. That's actually what I was going to ask you. Do you remember at which point you basically realized that she is possibly one of the biggest liars that?
Well,
You know,
Pierce kept telling me this, but it didn't register. I was like, okay, cool. Because again, we're in this mode of like,
Yeah, okay, I'm a liar.
now we gotta, so I'm lying, but what are we doing here? Like, again, my brain was kind of always in performance mode. Okay, am I fighting something? Am I yelling at someone? So it didn't click until multiple sessions in, where I'm really seeing, oh, she said that, now she's doing this. And it was really, but the way I'm being guided to perform it, am I being like an evil liar, or am I being a liar out of survival? Am I lying because I'm so desperate to like, you know, those are different to me. I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
I've dealt with liars. I've been a liar.
Yeah, but that's just it. That like,
Survival more.
I mean,
to be honest, we would
that's
probably
the
do
way
the same.
people live.
Right.
Similar
and
position.
that's what I was like, find me a person who hasn't done that. That's what I was challenging people in general. And these are actually things that I'm writing about in my own universe of like the true self beneath like the apparent self. This is how we present. Oh, we're so this, we're so that, I'm so lovely, I'm so helpful. But you have selfish desires. You have things that motivate you that are not always the most admirable, and they're not gonna let everyone know all your secrets and things like that. So yeah, to answer your original question, I don't know what her message would be. I would hope that in the performance of it being honest and it being, I guess, specific enough to be universal. I don't know if that sounds very But do you know what I mean? Like she's a real.
Purely oxymoronic.
Yeah, she's a real.
No black and
Specific
white.
enough to be universal.
Yeah, she's very
Yeah.
specific in her plight. Like she's really struggling, and in that, and people witnessing that so intimately,
kinda did the
have
same,
some
kinda.
level of empathy. You don't have to agree
Kinda.
with what she's doing. You don't have to
But
like
very
it,
similar.
admire it, or anything. It's just to understand it. I think that's all humanity wants more than anything, more than wanting to be like liked or admired. It's just be understood. And hopefully, I think that's what I like about good art. It makes you think about yourself, and it made me think, how have I been like her? And I have many examples, especially as a teenager, it was really bad. But, or how am I like her now? Or like, what does that mean? And it's just like pick myself apart in a good way, to be more empathetic, to be more kind, to be more, just not as unyielding and so like severe. Like people are all going through their shit, like, you know, and you just don't know because everyone else, you're going through yours.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
That's kind of it for me. Simply put.
We'll talk about it after the
So
stream.
maybe
a bit.
some lighter topic right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any your favorite moments from the recordings, like funniest moments from the recordings?
The ones where like I get to be a little sassy.
People always ask that question.
I know.
But the fact is that, like, I mean, Cyberpunk, the base game, and Phantom Liberty are so goddamn grim.
Yeah, it's. I was like, where?
I mean, there's, you know, you do not. I mean, they're like, where's the comic relief? You know.
When I got to be a troll to V. You know, when we're building that camaraderie, the friendship or the teamwork or whatever, and I get to be a little bit, have more personality. It's not all mission focused. I'm like, are you really doing that? Are we really doing this? Like when I got to be a little bit side eye to V, that was fun because it was a nice break from all the
Grimness.
all the grimness. That was fun.
Yeah, I also think, you know, when you look at Cyberpunk, for me, you know, you always have like very serious V.
Yeah.
Everyone is always so serious, and then Johnny, who is always pissed off, always comes with like a snarky comment, and that always made me laugh at least.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess it differs from person, like a humor.
Yeah.
But Johnny, for me, was the, you know, the mood cracker, at least in
Like
Cyberpunk.
Doomer.
Yeah.
He has some good comments.
Yeah, Johnny's an outlet, and
I mean, he has a reason
you
to
know,
be a
certain-
tumor like them.
again, the main storylines and the main character arcs are mostly grim, or you know, a vast section of them are grim, but you get a little bit of comic relief, I think, through minor quests and background characters like Ozab and.
Yeah, I didn't find my character to be the most fun one. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
It's pretty dark
playing
in
her.
general.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun playing her.
That's, you know, what's the most important, you know, to have this sense of accomplishment that you're happy with what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that was, it felt so great to me. Like I didn't know how to gauge because I'm not a gamer. I'm not a diehard Cyberpunk fan. That's why I think it
How
is
could
so
you?
reliant
I'm
on
kidding,
the
I'm
fan
kidding.
base, not only from the developers and from the people creating it saying, yeah, we feel really good about putting this in the universe. That matters a lot. And then how it's received, and do people believe it? Are they invested in it? That's how you know you did a good job. So that's been really, really cool. Because I can feel some type of way about anything and then everyone can hate it. And I think that art is a collaborative experience. It's not all about the creator. It's all about the people.
Hey, the small
also
screen,
about
man.
the people receiving it.
Gameplay's
Speaking
alright,
about
but
the job
it's like
and
I'm
the
looking at
career.
the like this.
I think myself, Alicia, and our community would like to know how you actually get into, you know, the voice acting, your career. How did it start?
How do you get roles?
I have no idea.
Was it always like, this is something I want to do?
No.
Okay.
This is a complete, happy, wonderful accident, and I'm so happy to be here. Like, it's such a surprise. I got into commercial acting because I have friends all over the entertainment and media industry, and I have friends Hi, Ed. He is a commercial editor, and he was doing a commercial for a nail polish brand, and he needed a voiceover just to have a placeholder so he could edit the commercial. So he asked me one random night, he's like, can you record something? Because I do podcasts and I host, and so he's like, I know you're comfortable on a microphone. And then that was the beginning of it. He's like, you're really good at this. I was like, cool. I was just doing it to help him out so he can edit. And then from there, he recommended me for a job. I got it immediately. And then all these little pieces started to pile up of like, people kept hiring me for my voice. And I had actually heard comments since I was younger that I have a very unique voice. And you know, you thank people for a compliment and you just keep moving on with your life. I was gonna be a doctor, I was gonna do all these other things. And then this happened and I just kept going with it because it was really fun. I was like, this is cool.
I mean, it is a fun job.
It is really fun. It can be really, I won't go into that here, but I have thoughts on the whole voiceover universe, especially now with technology. It's a very unique chapter we're going into. But one of the best jobs in the whole world. I didn't know I was ever gonna do it, and the Cyberpunk audition was one of many that came across me that I had no idea I would get, because prior to Cyberpunk, I've never done a video game. I had never even booked a major like animation character ever, and I had auditioned for several by that point. I was just like, oh, this is not for me.
It's a tough industry, man, especially for
products.
Actors.
And doing
especially
Google
for actors.
So I guess now it won't be your last big voiceover job.
Hope so. Yeah, it would be cool not
Would
to
you
be.
like to do more video games now that you tasted that?
I would. I would be really, really open to it. It would be so fun. Yeah, and people have been messaging me about things, but who knows what happens? I don't know what happens.
Would you like to come back to Cyberpunk if that would be a possible option?
I mean, she's been pitching us Songbird as the main character.
Borys, let's talk. I would love to. Yeah, this is a I feel again like I won the lottery in terms of like how do you get your first
Would
video
be cool
game
to
job
have it
and
in the
it be
sequel of it.
Cyberpunk, and to be a
Definitely.
major part of such a great storyline. I just don't understand how that happened.
So now we have over 5 million playing Phantom Liberty. And it's only a few months, so there's gonna be more and more people. That must feel amazing for you. And you are very active in the community, as I see you all the time on Twitter, for example. That's amazing.
Well, the artwork, I mean, I did not expect this to happen, and I know how I feel when I get really invested into like a film or a show. I'm just enjoying it as much. And I felt very, I don't know what the right word is, just like uncomfortable or like wary. I was like, oh, if I don't do it justice, or if I show up and if I don't say the right thing, I get very self-conscious. Like self-conscious is the right word. So I was a little bit nervous, but seeing how kind everybody was and tagging me in all this beautiful art, like I'm obsessed with it. And I want to just thank people. At the very least you can do is like tweet back and say thank you for, the support. It's really wonderful.
That's true.
So I'm having fun.
And Borys, how does it feel from a developer perspective? That now millions of players are playing.
5 million and counting.
Only Phantom Liberty.
On Phantom Liberty.
Again with the questions, Borys like.
What can we say except that
My
we're
God.
appreciative that the gaming audience out there has found our blood and toil worthy of consumption. And
He's such a director, dude. Like
I don't know,
director.
worthy of actually. We're just happy that like people are giving us the time of day.
Lots of time.
Lots of days and lots of time, and lots of rehashing is the wrong word, but yeah, people are involved enough to be posting art and posting their feelings and so on and so forth. And yeah, we've come a long way since Witcher 1 days.
Yes, definitely.
It was just about comments on a forum, and
he's seen it all. Borys has been a company for ages. He has seen it all, both Witcher and Cyberpunk.
The best summary
He's
is
an
that
OG,
we're
like,
speechless.
As you can
So
get.
we know Minji would absolutely do the same thing with
I'm actually
Songbird.
glad
Would
he's still
you
in the
do
company.
the same thing with Songbird as well?
The same thing in what sense?
Like, you know, with capturing, I know you mentioned at the beginning that we would like to flesh out some things more.
We would have liked to, yes.
Over, like, about that, like,
Yeah.
would you like to do it again in the future?
No
Go
problem.
back to the character of Songbird.
Or would you change
I would
something?
actually.
Oh, you
no,
could change
I think. No. If we had to redo it, I wouldn't change a thing. I do like I'm inclined to say that we're not going to go back to the character of Songbird, because I think that we've completed her arc.
I'm
There
sad,
we
but I
go.
support, I respect.
I mean, that's
That was
far,
probably
you
for
can't
Jackie as
overdo
well.
some
He was
stuff.
like,
Yeah.
Yes.
kill him.
Also, no spoilers.
Yeah. We're trying.
Hansen could have
There's a
been
live
used
stream.
more.
There's nothing legally
Definitely.
binding here. It's fine.
Definitely.
I'll still campaign. Don't worry.
All right, I think we covered everything for today. Do you guys have any final words for
We'll
our
talk about it
gamers
now.
and community?
We'll talk about V and Songbird and
Final
this stuff.
words. Thank you
About
so
Hansen.
much for all the love. Thank you for being so supportive, and I don't know. It feels really fulfilling, and it was such a, I don't know, it's not a gamble at all, but it's just you make things with the most sincere, earnest wishes that it will be received well, and then when it is, that's like such a rewarding feeling, because there's no guarantee that it will be. But I will say, in terms of like working with CDPR, I was truly amazed, again, not knowing anything, how much care went into everything. And I do
Yeah,
think
some
that
spoilers
again, no
definitely in this.
guarantees. You can still put a lot of care into something. It doesn't
There has been some
guarantee
spoilers.
that everybody will receive it well or like understand what you're trying to say. But I do think the success of it is a result of a tremendous amount of care and specificity and blood and toil, like you said. Was it blood and toil?
Yes.
Yeah. I got to witness that firsthand, and I respect that immensely. So it was such a treat to be part of this universe.
I think I'm most appreciative to all those people who might have been disappointed around December of 2020, who nonetheless have, stuck with us and shown a lot of patience and come back to us and retasted our offerings and so on and so forth and found them
Ooh, I'm hungry, dude.
no longer lacking.
My stomach is growling.
And
Gotta
that
eat.
was also a very long road. Phantom Liberty was sort of the crowning part of that road, and well, yeah, we're happy to have, I believe at least, regained a lot of trust that I think we might have compromised at some point.
On that note, I think that's a very good way to end it. So thank you guys for watching, for playing Cyberpunk, for being a part of our community. Thank you so much, Minji, to flying here to meet with us. Borys, for taking the time to also join us for the stream.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
see
you
you
for
next time.
having us. Yeah. Please soon.
Hopefully.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye, guys.
It's not a bad game. It's a good game if you. Oh, okay. If you overlook some, it was never a bad game. Underbaked systems at the release, yes, but it was never a bad game because think about it. The improved gameplay, the story was as is still. So, no new announcements right now. Which is kind of expected because at the same time, even if there was announcement and there is going to be announcement for the next update, keep in mind it's mostly hotfix related rather than related to like anything big content wise. So there were a few discussions around Songbird and V when it comes to what Songbird did. Now obviously without going into spoilers, because I know some people haven't played, V did indirectly do some of that stuff, but at the same time, even if we were in the shoes of Songbird, we would do it. So I think that's what they were referring like to hate. It's not really a hate. It's like it's the hate like you would have for Joffrey in Game of Thrones. It's such a good character and it's acted incredibly well. and the character is designed really well, that even though you hate them, you appreciate their character because they were a good antagonist, or maybe they were a good protagonist, or whatever. Doesn't matter if it's good or evil character, or mixed in that sense. But I still, like, in a sense, V is still a little bit more chum to people around him. But at the same time, I mean, V also has Johnny. I mean, you have engram of Johnny Silverhand. As much as that doesn't help, I'm pretty sure it helped V a lot, especially when it comes to saving his life and everything later on. But yeah, and also Hansen, definitely, like, the problem with CD Projekt is that they do so many amazing characters and they're memorable, and they're not there for long. Like Jackie, incredibly memorable character, you know, gone. And then for a lot of else, like, I have to start eventually speaking about spoilers, like, it's been a while. So the stream summarized, no more patches and no more Songbird. I mean, we're still getting an update, just not now. But when it comes to Songbird, yeah, so far. But you also have to think about, like, what they say now. It doesn't have to mean anything in, like, the next 3-4 years or whatever. But yeah, we'll see. This was fun. I mean, seeing Minji was cool, but also especially seeing Borys, because Borys, he doesn't appear too often, and you probably know him from, like, the 40-minute demo. He was narrating also stuff before that. He was the director for the Witcher games. He was director for Cyberpunk. He's been in a company for a very long time, and he is very tough on his actors. Everyone who was working with Borys is like, oh my god, like that pronunciation. But I'm telling you, like, having a guy like that in a company, director like that, it's big stuff. Dexter and T-Bug. Yeah, definitely. A lot of cool characters. Like, even Dexter Deshawn, and him being some sort of an antagonist, obviously, in a sense, antagonistic towards V, I still think his character was fantastic, because every single person who does stuff to V in the game kind of makes sense. I mean, if you were Dexter Deshawn, you would do that stuff. You would. Like, if you were a fixer, job blew up, you're on the news, stuff happened, like, you would do the same. So everyone has a good reason why they're doing stuff, and I think that's very important in a character, is that, you know, okay, he has a reason for doing so. Okay, so he's a fixer, he's gonna be acting in that way. Same for Rogue, same for everyone else. I mean, that's cool. Borys is a legend, definitely. Night City beckons. Yeah. Same Cyberpunk comics. Yeah, I'm telling you, Cyberpunk comics. Then there was the anime, the Edge Runners. I mean, people asking when is season 2. I mean, look, I think Edge Runners would have, like, one of the good things which works about Edge Runners is that it has a set amount of episodes, it has a beginning and the end. Now, of course, people would want more, but at the same time, you know how it is. Like, you have some shows which... You have shows which you say, oh, I wish it had more seasons, but you also had shows which you say, oh, maybe this show shouldn't have this many seasons. Like, for example, The Walking Dead is a perfect example of it. But yeah, they're gonna be doing more stuff live action format, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be doing more anime projects. I mean, it makes sense. If one of your projects is extremely successful, if it works well for the game, which it did, I'm pretty sure they're going to do it. Dexter is a bad guy, but he did what he had to do. Exactly. I mean, he's saving himself in that sense, and that's what it's cool, because people here, they have their own agendas in a sense, and I wish also that is even more fleshed out in, like, the sequel, and you could see that, how some people play you, how some people don't play you, and how you, like, is this person really good or bad? Is it gonna help me later or not? You know. Edge Runners with a full new crew would be sick. Yeah, I mean, you can, like, the thing is with Cyberpunk, the lore is vast. You can do content for Cyberpunk until the end of the days, let's face it. If you went through the books, through the lore, if you went back into the past or into the future, like, that's the thing with good worlds. You can do a lot of stuff in them. You can adapt them in various formats. Worst fixer, Regina? I mean, Regina was mostly... I don't think I have a worst fixer. I mean, the Regina was used a lot. Yeah. But still, I didn't find her annoying, to be honest. Wanna see nomads? Yes, yes. I mean, the thing is, like, I think Cyberpunk, if it had that longer beginning, like you arriving into Night City and then doing those little jobs with Jackie and having that whole arc before this happens, I think would have been amazing. I think it would have a much stronger emotional effect. I'm still mad about them revealing all of that stuff in a trailer, even though, let's say, it wasn't the premise of the story. It wasn't the biggest thing in the story, obviously, because it wasn't. Like, the Johnny's story, after everything happens, that's the main game. But I still think showing that trailer was a mistake, and I hope they don't do the same thing for, like, The Witcher and the sequel. They should never, ever do that stuff, that sort of a spoiler, in a trailer for the game which is releasing. I mean... It you know... Ooh, I'm hungry, dude. My stomach is growling, dude. But it's no surprise, because I usually eat at this time, and the actual live stream was happening. So I'm gonna live stream in the future, but mostly on Twitch when it comes to like gaming, and I'm gonna start with Cyberpunk game as well. Right now I'm gonna go chill. I'm gonna start working on some videos because we have to talk about Piranha Bytes. I have to talk about obviously some Cyberpunk videos which I've been planning. I'm planning to do more modding videos for Cyberpunk, especially when it comes to full-on installations of like different collections. So that's also what I'm gonna be doing in the future, and also covering other games as well, mostly RPGs or games I play, like survival games. I'm gonna check out also to see if maybe 1-2 of the Pal World videos, see how people like it, if they enjoy it or not. But it's mostly gonna be games I enjoy, and it's mostly gonna be RPGs, and with that survival-like games, like for example Stalker, because that's the games I play. Do not expect a 180-degree turn on this channel with like games which don't make sense to be on the channel, so just keep that in mind. At least when it comes to like, because I've been getting a lot of questions about the future of the channel, but it's mostly that, like Cyberpunk, The Witcher is always gonna be #1. CDPR stuff, obviously, and then we have other games. I mean, there's a lot of cool games to talk about, to cover. There's Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out. Stalker is in September. There's also a bunch of games being announced. Like September, mark my words, September is gonna be filled with games. Like September and October, I think it's gonna be like... Eat to keep your strength, man. Big Smoke. I will. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for stopping by. This was an amazing stream. Thank you for the support, for the likes, for the comments, for the donations. Definitely means a lot, and it's honestly amazing and humbling to see on every single stream, even though it's not like the main stream, it's not the big event that a lot of people turn the stream on and they watch and interact, which is amazing, and thank you so much for that. I never expected that was going to be the case. So I'm gonna rest up, and yeah, we're gonna be covering a lot in the future when it comes to just different RPGs, but don't think that I'm gonna stop covering these games, because well, it's what this channel is about. They haven't announced the update yet, but at the same time, I mean, keep in mind that the update is dropping, but the probably announcement is for later, when they're ready. We'll see. I mean, I could honestly expect a little bit more of these not Night City wires, these RedStreams. I mean, it's behind the scenes stuff. I mean, every single one doesn't have to be a big event. They're doing the flight wheel of like the franchising, which always means like, oh, they're putting like some spotlight on the project, because at the end of the day, these streams are also marketing for the game in a sense, not just updates. But yeah, all right, thank you for watching, thank you for stopping by, and I will see you very soon, or well, tomorrow, with a Piranha Bytes video, and after that Cyberpunk 1, and then we'll see from now on. But yeah, bye bye.